this is Shani from Baker Creek, and today I'm going to talk to you about what you can plant in July in the South. This is focused on USDA hardiness zones 7 and warmer in the US. So the super South to the mid South, and I'm going to basically lay it out what you can pull off in the month of July, because it can be varied depending on what part of the South you're in. Now, if you're a northern grower and you happen to find this as a what to plant in July, just go back to the playlist and you're going to find what to plant in July in the north. So I made one for you northern gardeners, and this one's for the southern gardeners. First thing you're going to want to do is assess whether you get a first frost date in your area. I'm here on the Florida-Georgia line. We have a pretty sketchy chance of first frost, probably around December, maybe January. It can really vary. So the way to figure this out, if you don't already know it, is just to put in your internet search bar your zip code plus average first frost date. And that's going to let you know about when you can expect your first frost. Figure this date out and then mark it on your calendar, because it's going to determine what kind of crops you can plant in July. No matter if you're in the upper part of the southern region or if you're in the super deep south, we're going to be battling extreme heat in the month of July. It's going to be intense, and it's likely going to be humid. Although on the other side of the country, we're talking about hot and dry. Regardless, what's so important is that we're keeping our plants as shaded as possible, as cool as possible, with the exception of our really heat-loving plants that can handle anything. We're going to provide shade cloth. We're going to plant tall plants that create shade in your garden space, or we're going to establish a drip irrigation system so that we're concentrating our moisture right at the root zone and watering deeply to make sure our plants don't dry out. These are all tips for all parts of the South, all zone 7s and warmer, to keep our plants happier over the summer months and to help with any kind of germination we're trying to pull off in July. If you're in the northernmost region of where I am talking about, aka the zone 7 in the Carolinas, then you can start your fall carrots and your fall brassicas now with great care. You have to be very careful not to let them dry out and not to let them fry in the heat. So locate them in your coolest microclimate. Be sure to be obsessive about the watering and keep them covered with shade cloth if you can. Do whatever you have to do to get them to nurse through right now. So for carrots, I suggest the Oxheart carrot. It's a really nice variety. And I also love Muscade carrot. That variety also does very well in the heat. It's known to do really well in the zone 7 at Baker Creek. With caution, you can start your brassicas right now. Those would be your cabbages, your cauliflowers, your broccolis. Again, you're going to want to be super careful to keep them extra cool right now. And you're not going to want to start those until the end of July. You're going to start those carrots and those brassicas in zone 7. You're going to start them at the end of the month. And they should survive the last of the heat through August and September. And then as it starts to cool off, they're going to do really beautifully. And then when you get your first frost, because zone 7 is going to get a first frost, then they're going to sweeten up and taste delicious. So if you're in the uppermost region of where I'm talking about, you can pull off carrots and brassicas planting in July, but you're going to start the carrots and brassicas very carefully. You're also going to start those brassicas indoors. You're going to start them indoors in a cooled area, and you're going to transplant them out when they're at least 4 to 6 inches tall and established. You're going to transplant them into the coolest microclimate you can find, shaded. Make sure you have your watering set up so that they stay well watered. They are going to be more susceptible to pests right now. If you want brassicas to be mature for the fall, you're going to want to start them in late July in zone 7. Regarding the super South, this would be zones 8, 9, 10, and warmer. Zones 8, 9, 10, those really warm parts of the South, places that get super hot triple-digit summer heat and maybe don't get a frost. Your options for July planting are very limited. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But you can plant cowpeas right now. We still have the old timer cowpea left online. We also have the Chinese long mosaic bean, and that's a Chinese long noodle bean like the ones I have back here, but they're red. Those will take an incredible amount of heat and they can still germinate right now. You have a chance of growing okra. You can still sow some okra if you're in zones 8 and warmer. So give emerald okra a try. That variety is still available on our site. Also Eagles Pass okra, which is a really cool, super thick okra variety. That one's nicely regionally adapted to Texas. And finally, if you're in the super south, that's like zone 8B and warmer, you can grow cuttings of sweet potato. Sweet potato, we do not have it on the site. However, if you're in those super southern climates, it's very likely you have a friend who has a sweet potato plant if you don't already have one. So try to snip a cutting off of that plant, root it in some water, and get it into your garden, and you'll have no problem getting it in July. So there are my suggestions for the medium south and the super mid-south and the super hot south. I hope that I covered everybody. I think I did manage to get everybody's zones in there. If you have specific questions, just drop them in the comment section. I'll be happy to get to them. I hope that you guys stay cool and hydrated. It is a very, very hot summer down here in the south. So remember that July is also a great time to put in a cover crop. Putting in a cover crop of cowpeas is a great choice right now if you have beds and you've pulled things out and you don't really want to get out into the garden for more heavy cultivation. Just toss some cowpeas in there and you're good to go. So happy gardening, everybody. Stay cool and stay safe. Thanks so much for watching this video. We sure love making them for you. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss one.